So the resonance above what we've been attuning to now, as I'm sitting here thinking about everything, let me speak clearly, let me speak fluidly. What we have been attuning to and overcoming in the 3D reality and coming into a higher vibrational frequency. So what that means on an individual level is that maybe you accept the 3D reality of what is around you, first of all, and you say, this does not resonate with me. This does not make me feel as fulfilled as I can possibly be. It doesn't make my soul feel free. There's too many restrictions, too many boundaries. And so part of your life is overcoming that. Any restrictional boundaries, or maybe you're fine with your restrictional boundaries, but your emotional boundaries, you want to expand those. And so you find an environment and people around you that allow you to express yourself more freely. And so then you become more in tune with a higher level of yourself. You're at a higher frequency for yourself. And so that's the individual growth. And so on a collective level, when we all step up, we're all taking that step together. And sometimes people don't step at the same pace and those people fall away. Some people are stepping faster and so they seem way ahead of you, and maybe you don't feel like keeping up, but maybe you meet each other further down the road, tortoise and the hairstyle. But overall, the idea and the sensation that once we integrate out of our 3D constraints and we hit a 5D plane, so that is an understanding that we can't run away from ourselves. We are who we are, but there's a level of freedom and vitality that we eventually reach that allows us to feel elevated and at a higher frequency, where we're doing what we love, where we're expressing ourselves more freely, where we're speaking more truth, where we're feeling like we resonate with different levels and vibrations of beings, of the energy frequencies that we want to be in tune with in our body at this time. And so for each of us, that's different. It looks different. And so we have to respect that at a basic level, in my opinion. Like, that's respect. Like, you are who you are, I am who I am. And we very much frequently might have the same resonance or frequency, but that doesn't mean that we resonate all the time on the same frequency, and that we belong in a committed union across time. Like, there's boundaries. I understand that, and sometimes that's hard, and you don't want to lose people in your life that you care about, and maybe you easily care about people. That's normal, and that's a frequency and a resonancy that you have to come to balance with in yourself, so that you're not always feeling on the downside of that particular frequency. Like, everything has its waves, so you want to adjust your frequency and find the higher elevations and find what's in tune with you. And you can think of that as like in a melodic state too, like, where are you vibrating at? What is your sound? They got these new sound things where you can plug into the plants and it makes a unique sound. I'm pretty sure you would probably have a unique sound as well, and we do, and a lot of people express that through light language song, or emanating different light language speech and things like that. So anyway, there's different frequencies and different resonancies, and people are connecting with that and attuning to that based on some label. Sometimes, maybe we don't know what we're attuning to. But if you look outside of the box, you're definitely going to be tuning into a programming that makes you feel better about yourself at a minimum. Like, that's what it's about. We are attuning ourselves to a frequency that we resonate with outside of what is normal, compared to what we see as mainstream. If we are anti-mainstream, maybe we are really deep in the woods, or if we are just like wanting to break free from some constraint that we feel society places on us, we're going to tune into something else that allows us to speak, think, or move more freely within ourselves, so that we can move, think, and speak more freely out in the world. And so as within, so without. And so we resonate in a different way when we are more in tune with ourselves, when we are feeling that we are at a higher frequency, then we resonate out more positivity out into the world. But when we are by ourselves, we are who we are. We settle into a neutral. When we have no change in our outside constraints, we settle into a neutral. And we have to understand what is neutral and where do you want your neutral to sit. And if I have a tenacity to have more positivity in my life and a more higher vibrational area in that way, that I'm feeling more joy and I'm seeking more joy and I'm seeking out the things that truly matter to me, that I'm going to want to set those times when I feel that as my new normal, and anything less than that is not acceptable. So therefore my desire increases to feel that level of joy again. And that's how you chase the dream at a micro level of understanding the emotional frequencies that you go through on a so micro level on a daily basis of what you actually resonate with and what you don't. It's like, I'm doing this job now, and I'm in training for a new job, and what does that feel like for me, and how does that resonate with me, and what does it truly mean if I succumb to accepting the lessons that I'll be learning and all of the potential and all of these things, and how much more of the information I can integrate into myself. And there's always lessons to learn, and I can integrate till my heart's content and blue, but it doesn't put me as a foot to doing the work, which is translating that and all of the experiences I've had up to this point on a higher vibrational level. So I'm working towards expressing myself differently, and that's great. And I'm working towards sharing myself differently, and that's great, and understanding what that means and what it looks like in this new environment, in this new world, when everything is split. Like, my heart is very much boots on the ground. I want to meet people, but my body is very much, I'm a recluse at this point. I'm so happy in my own peace, I don't want to really care, right? So I do a lot online, but I don't share a lot of myself, and that's something I'm working through. And I realize that, again, as I'm going through this training, like, it takes me 2 hours to adjust, like, it just straight up takes me 2 hours to adjust. So, and how does that translate to going online? Well, I'm getting a little quicker about it, but also I care less too, because I know that I'm shifting to wanting to be out, boots on the ground. I'm shifting to want to put the work out into the world and meet people where they are. But in order for me to compensate and do that, that's like, well, there's, look, I don't know if I can do it, but there's like this bird in the yard. The dog's going over. The ibis, oh God, bless America. Hold on. This is an unusual occurrence that the ibis are in the yard, I think. Oh, let me. So anyway, aside from the dog going berserk and having this wonderful experience, sit down. Sit down, please. Sit down. The whole understanding about the universe speaking to us in signs and paying attention to what matters, and kind of working through the end result is going to be what it is. And that was 8:11 on the clock just there. So, there's always some signs and synchronicities. There's always things that we're going to be working through. There's always things that we're going to be learning. There's always things that are going to happen. And we just have to kind of put ourselves out there. And I want to be more boots on the ground. And what I was saying was, in order to facilitate that, like, that's like a whole day's work for me when I work and give my energy towards another person, in the capacity that I do at the multidimensional level, because I'm reading every cell of aspect, and it's hard to translate that sometimes because you don't have time, and people are so much in the front, and they don't even really read themselves, and it's just kind of, you just pick up on that main energy, and it's like, well, let's work through this issue, because obviously this is something that needs to be worked through. So how do you facilitate that in a way that translates into like a real world need? Like, y'all understand that you have blocked energy, and how does that resonate with me, like, as an individual, and how can I help you work through that on so many different levels? And I look at the world with so many different aspects and micro examination of things, and I'm always learning. That's what I'm saying, because people have different aspects and perspectives. So I do pick up and I do learn every day, and so no, I'll never feel ready, in that aspect, because there's always going to be something that I'm going to be learning, but that's just more tools in the toolbox, if you will. That's just more understanding for me to reach out and speak to the world. And so yeah, I feel really blessed and called, and Obviously this was a live recording, and stuff happened, and it was at 10:01 on the clock at live. So here we are, book ended into the middle of infinity as we upload this. And we thank you, and we hope everything is blessed with you today. And I hope that this rant was of interest and you feel enlightened in some way for having shared that moment with me. Peace and God bless.